All right, everybody, welcome to Darkfire Studios. Today's episode 9, we have Gage. He is going to tell him a little bit about his time during basic training during the COVID days. All righty, go ahead, bud.
Yeah, so I ended up joining up in September of 2020, which was right after I graduated. Pretty much, I went into 17. Didn't have like a real graduation. They just had us all stand outside and walk one at a time, and it was filmed and everything. Basically, missed like half of my senior year, like no prom or nothing like that. But is what it is. But had a couple months off and was like, "Yep, this is what I'm doing now." So it was a pretty funny thing. I've actually never taken an airplane anywhere in my whole career. Because I got recruited out of Springfield, and our MEPS is down in St. Louis, so that's just like a drive down there. And then I went to Leonardwood for my training and my OSET cycle, so literally just a bus the whole way. Yeah, I left on my brother's birthday, which I kind of felt bad about, but is what it is. And went down there, wasn't signed for a job yet. My recruiter was trying to tell me just, yeah, sign up for something and they can switch it for you once you get down there. I was smart enough to not do that. So went down there and finished up all like the medical stuff and all that, peeing in front of people for the first time. And
Duck walk.
yeah, duck walk. There was a funny thing about that. After that, they do like the whole butthole check, which I'm
Oh, my
sure
favorite
everybody,
part of MEPS.
yeah. Well, they had this short little East Indian guy that was sitting down in like this rolly chair, and he was making fun of me because I had a hard time just standing up on one foot. And I was the first one to go in there and first one to come out, and they still had us all on the line in our underwear. And so on my way out, I was like limping, kind of holding my ass, and I was like, "Yeah, they just ran out of lube." And I mean, seeing the eyeballs on these kids that haven't been around people that have been in, because for those that don't know, Nathan, the host, is my dad. So I got to grow up around a bunch of Fort Bragg people my whole life, and kind of got a good introduction before I got in. And
I don't know if it was a good introduction, but it was definitely an introduction.
definitely knew what I was in for. But yeah, got done with all that and went to go sign up for a job, and I scored pretty well on the ASVAB, but it was right before like the end of the fiscal year. So had I just waited like a month or two, let's say literally the next month, because it's October, I'm pretty sure, ain't it? Where it
Yes.
starts up again.
Yep.
So end of the road, they're just trying to get these last few contracts out before they get all the new ones in. And there was this colonel up there that had to call up to like the Rock because I told him I want to be a combat engineer and I ain't signing for nothing other than that. And that pissed him off a lot because I was like, listen, dude, no, no kind of concept of rank or anything like that at the time because I'm still a civilian, I didn't give a shit. And I was like, yeah, I don't care what you have to do. I'll go home. Like, fine by me. And so I heard him in there on the phone talking and shit like that. It took him like 2 hours of waiting. Finally got a contract that I was cool with. Signed up for that. And then they're like, cool, we're taking you over there to the airport. Get ready. So, again, never really been in an airport before. I think the only time that I've been in one was taking a plane from California to Carolina whenever we moved back the second time. And I was young. I mean, would have been like 5 or 6, wasn't it?
Actually, leaving California, going back to Carolina, it was me, you, and
In the truck, yeah.
my stepdad. Yep, and we made it
Mm-hmm.
from coast to coast in like what, two and a half days.
Yeah, something like that. It was a
Yeah,
haul, man.
yeah. So
Yeah.
you didn't get to fly, but your brother did.
Damn. Yeah. So I don't think I've really ever been in a like commercial airplane before.
Hmm.
Just never had to.
Did you drive to California from Carolina?
I think we did. I'm not sure though.
Pretty sure you would have stopped by home first and then.
Mm-hmm.
So no flights for you.
Nope, not at all. I think. Well, shit, that's kind of crazy then, because that means that our skydive
Was your
would
first
have been
time
our
on a
first.
plane?
Yeah.
So you've been on a plane once and never landed.
No, not at all.
All right.
Yeah, I think prior to that, like the Chinook from my buddy's reenlistment was about the only other aircraft that I got to go in. That
Yeah,
was the only one that I landed.
I've been on a lot of planes and myself and helicopters. I've never landed in a helicopter, and I've been on more planes than I've landed somehow.
Gotcha. But yeah, so anyway, pull up there to the airport, and I'm super early because they're still waiting for all of these other MEP stations to come in. And Leonardwood is the home of the engineers. And if any of you MPs or Seaburn people out there want to talk shit, you can come say it to me. All
I was
right.
gonna say it's the MP world, bud.
Mm-mm. Nah, which, and I'll talk about that later once we get into like the later stage because we had a room clearing thing against them and they got messed up with sim rounds. But I digress. So either way, I'm sitting up there waiting, up there in the USO. Got me a chili dog because I knew wasn't going to have nothing good to eat for a little bit. Probably the best chili dog that I've ever had. Didn't even have
Hmm.
to pay for it. So sitting in there hanging out. I can't take a nap because I'm just too damn excited. You know, I'm ready to go. And then I see this like Filipino looking dude come walking in, big old campaign hat. I'm like, oh shit, yep, it's about to start because we had just started getting a bunch of people in, and it had to have been maybe like 11 at night by the time he pulled up with like the charter buses. So he had us all come out there and sit down with our bags. We're in like a somewhat formation, just sitting down, and people kept talking and shit like that. And I don't really think that they're like allowed to smoke you at that point because like you haven't been through, reception or nothing like that. Either way, he got pretty pissed off. So we're sitting in there doing push ups in the middle of the airport, waiting on the buses to pull up. Get done with all that, hop up on the bus. 2.5 hour ride from St. Louis over to Fort Leonard Wood. And, got my headphones in, chilling out for a while. End up pulling up. And again, this is COVID. So, like, everybody got masks on 24/7. Never, ever allowed to take them off unless you're eating, and even then it goes right back on afterward. So end up pulling into Leonardwood. I'm looking around. It's nighttime. I don't have my glasses, or no, I did at that point because they got broken later on. So we come pulling up. They have us all come out. We line up around this big ass parking lot, and they have just a table there with like a bucket full of COVID tests. Now the Army medics are not very gentle whenever they do this, and my dumbass was the first one off the bus. So I didn't really hear what they were saying because he was like a good 50 meters away talking the opposite direction. So I show up there with a fucked up test. They're like, yeah, this dude's a retard already. I'm like, okay, great. So redo it. Now they're kind of pissed off. So, I mean, they really just start
Hmm.
jamming that thing, both nostrils, and drop it in the stuff. And they're like, go walk and go sit down on the curb. So I walked over, sat down on the curb, and the AIT barracks are right across, and there's a bunch of kids that are awake, fresh out of basic. They're still going through their school and everything. So I just hear moaning and like all sorts of crazy shit coming from over there. And one of the drill sergeants that were in charge of us coming in sprinted up there to that barracks, ended up calling everybody that was on staff duty that night, and like they were getting fucked up while we were waiting. Well, then this normal little bus comes by, like normal looking school bus, takes us up to the PT bubble, gives us our little introduction, like throw away your razor blades, all that kind of stuff, and we go straight to the barracks instead of like the reception barracks. So, which I understand is a bit different from how it's supposed to go.
Yeah, I think I was I was like a holdover in Ritz, and that sucked because
Mm-hmm.
we had the white uh
Gotcha.
the
Yeah.
the sweats
Mm-hmm.
that were brand new, and your brand new shaved head, you just look like cotton ball running around.
Yep.
I lived in those damn things for over 2 weeks waiting to get shipped to South Carolina.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So that would have been a lot different because how our stuff worked is like we showed up to like where we actually did our basic at.
Oh, yeah,
So,
yeah. I was there, but not. It was on the post that I was going to basic, but it
mhm.
was in the
Was it like the same
holding.
barracks?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
right.
Yeah. Because for us, they shot us straight to like Delta Company, Delta 31st, by the way. There's only two companies that actually train, or two battalions that train the engineers. You got 31st and then 35th. Each one has their different stuff. Uh, like the Bravo Bulldogs, we gave them a lot of shit the whole time because they were like the only other cycle that was kind of within us. They were a little bit ahead at the time. But yeah, so we pull up there. They're trying to get our camel packs and everything set up, and these drills have been going before the COVID stuff. So like usually by the time you pull up there, you should know how to stand at attention and you know how to communicate properly without messing up. I didn't know shit, so I finished my stuff. Yeah, I didn't know how to salute nothing, so I'm just kind of just standing there like stiff as a board. And Drill Sergeant Schwanke was his name, but he came up and he was like, "Did you get that done already?" I was like, "Yes, sir," like that. And he's like, "I work for my fucking money, dude. Like, don't talk to me like that." And I mean, we just get the dog shit smoked out of us for good couple hours, get our camel packs together, right? And they're like, everybody go upstairs. And like, we're still in civilian clothes, haven't been issued nothing yet other than the camel packs. So we're up there for like 2 weeks waiting for everybody to come in. And they gave us each like a piece of tape. So there was like yellow tags, red tags, and I think like a green tag or something like that. So you knew who was in there the longest based on what color they had. I was the first group to come in, which meant that we had to wait like the 4 days for everybody to come in. And then the 2 weeks started for like the quarantine. So I was in there for about 2.5 weeks before I got to do really anything. And literally, you're just chilling there. They bring the food up there to you. They tell you to keep everything clean, and you're just waiting on the quarantine until then. No training starts or nothing. So quarantine ends up ending. We start going to reception. So we get bused there every morning to go do our stuff. Get your head shaved, get issued all your kit, stuff like that. Go through deers, make sure everything's good. And actually, I'll show you what I looked like because it was a rough 2 weeks before then. Um, Hold on, let me see if I got it. I look like a Marlboro Red cigarette, but you see how I got like, or wait, am I allowed to show that? Is there anything on there?
Yeah, you might want to
Yeah,
cover
cover
up
your
everything
stomach.
else.
We'll edit that one out. But you can see up on there, I have my that OCP top on. That wasn't an actual top. They had just cut the collar off and slapped it over the top of my civvy shirt and then took the picture of me like right after they shaved my stuff. And I never got a new cat card the whole time I was in. So I was just rocking with that the whole time.
I
But
believe, like when we went through there and did that,
mm,
we actually had just the shirt and the top on. We still
gotcha.
had our PT shorts on, I think, but
Mm-hmm.
I think the Marines do something like that too. They slap a hat and like a little collar
Yeah,
on them.
just like the top half of the it was
Mm-hmm.
goofy looking, man. And so we get through all of that, and that's a funny thing too. So they gave us like a laundry bag, taught us how to like turn it into a backpack. So we're going through, and then before you get your duffel bags with all like your uniforms in it, they tell us to lay these down in the hallway where you're waiting. And I mean, you're standing at parade rest anytime you're waiting, looking straight ahead, like there's no talking or nothing. And it's the easiest thing just to sit down and stay quiet and just read a book, you know. But people always fuck that up. So there was one time for like 2 hours straight, we had to sit arms straight out reading our book back and forth, and you actually had to keep reading it because then they would quiz you on shit every now and then. And like the scariest thing for me at the point was asking to like go to the bathroom because I didn't know what I was supposed to say, you know. And so I'm like, dude, I gotta go. I'm gonna go up there and ask. And I was like, parade rest, forgot to ask for permission to speak to begin with. So now I'm doing push ups. And I'm like, Drill Sergeant, I had to piss. Like, I don't know how to ask for permission. Could you please give me guidance? Like, I don't fucking know, dude. I gotta go. I'm about to spring a leak out here in the middle of reception.
I don't know
And
what to do.
yeah, I'm like, I'm stupid, dude. Like, hook a brother up. And so he tells me what I'm supposed to say. He's like, go back, learn it, come back whenever you're ready. I went, sat down for a second, walked straight back, knocked it out of the park, went and took a piss, and knocked that out. But anyway, that laundry bag that we left there. So you come out on the complete opposite side of the building, And I'm like, oh shit, I don't have my laundry bag now. I have to somehow make it. I have like half of an OCP top on because they're trying to get us to like switch into uniform right there. Um, I don't know how to put any of my patches on or nothing, so I'm looking all sorts of fucked up. And I'm just walking back to go grab my shit. I got all these fucking sharks just looking at me like this kid's fucked up, pretty bad. Make it out of there pretty okay. Got back there and they're like, all right, we're going to teach you how to put everything on there proper. You'll be good to go. And got us through with that. Got through a reception, MRE every single day while you're up there. Pretty good introduction. And so it was kind of coasting for a bit during reception because, like, yeah, we would get smoked for small stuff, but it wasn't nothing too crazy until the last day where we finally finished up, got all of our stuff done, got issued all the shit that we needed. And then we're like, all right, cool. We're just going to head back to the barracks and stuff will be same as it has been. That was a mistake because the shark attack was still a thing back whenever I went through that. But they were also trying to move into that 1,000 yards thing, I think is what it's called, where you have like certain events that you have to do. And I know it sounds like they're just taking it easy on people now, but that's not really like the case. What they're trying to do is figure out who's going to be like, who has leadership potential, who kind of shits their pants whenever stuff is kind of going crazy. And they're trying to get a gauge for who's going to be good at what before they make the platoons. Um, and so we're getting like the dog shit smoked out of us as soon as we get back. I mean, everybody's screaming at you, you're lifting your bags, doing all the normal stuff, and then get us all into formation, just one mass one because we haven't had our platoons yet. And then they're like, cool, 1,000 yards thing, let's go. And so one of them, they give you like a piece of paper that has what like a sandbag kind of fortification should be like, and you have to move them back and forth. There's another one where you have to low crawl and shit like that, moving dummies back and forth. There's like a stack, like just a pallet created up in a certain way. So there's like two ammo cans on this side, like water jugs here, and then you all as a team have to move that to the other side of the quad, stack it up the exact same way, just to kind of see if you can keep your cool enough to remember details if you need. So they get done with all that. They're kind of grading people as you go by. And then I guess they have some like NFL type draft to pick platoons. And so I was not, yeah, I was first platoon, I think. Yep, I was. Sorry, it's been a little bit trying to remember
Uh,
everything. But yeah, so I got first platoon and we had co ed basic training, which I think you guys did whenever
yeah,
you went through,
I
right?
did it. Relax in Jackson.
Gotcha. So, like for us, we had it was kind of like an L shape. So you got like the drill sergeant's office is right down in here. Then you had like third and second platoon were over here, or no, it was us and third platoon, and then second platoon, and then the female barracks was kind of aligned with ours. We got smoked more for the female barracks than ours, to be real. Um, because you want to talk about people fighting all the time. That was rough in there, man. I could tell you what. But so yeah. But anyway, as I said, masks all the time. We always also had to have iPro on 24/7 unless you're going to sleep or taking a shower, which I thought was kind of goofy because only Delta Company did that. I don't know why they thought that that was a great idea because your glasses are going to fog up if you have a mask just shooting hot air up into there. And then, Missouri heading into like the winter time gets pretty damn cold, same as what it's been up here. So I was used to it. But it was just kind of dumb a little bit because, you go 3 months without being able to see shit. It just kind of sucks. But yeah, so got our platoons and everything, getting ready to go into it, and like trying to think the order of what we did everything because I know like the gas chamber was kind of later on, but that was still red phase. Like, do they still have it as red, white, and blue phase while you were in?
Yeah, I was just trying to remember that. I think there was what 3 or 4 phases, probably three, and
Mm,
because the first one's just, oh, it's nasty. It's terrible.
Yep.
It's getting you conditioned and everything.
Yep.
The second one,
Get your weapons.
yep.
Just nothing but
Um,
range time, pretty much for us.
yeah. And then we did a lot of DNC too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I what was it? I can't remember how many weeks was in each phase, but me being, I swear I was a specialist back then too. I could sham really good. I even shammed in basic. They were like,
Mm-hmm.
"Hey, who here can draw?" I'm like, "Well, I can draw."
Mm-hmm.
Like, cool. I got to sit in the drill sergeant's office for days at a time while everybody else was doing dumb stuff. Just I was nice and taking my time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was for I don't remember what it was for. It was
Your
like our
platoon
scorecard
mascot.
basically or something.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And so I had to put our platoon mascot on it and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and then we started ranges up, and
Yep.
that was fun because we were shooting M16s.
Gotcha. Big old
So
broomsticks.
yeah,
Yeah, because we started out with them fours, but here before we, because I'm kind of trying to take it chronologically a
yeah,
little bit. So like red phase, I know we did like all the confidence courses and the obstacle courses, and I
that was
loved doing
fun.
that. Yeah,
Yep.
that stuff was dope. Had that weaver that I was just no problem through. We did we did have a female drill sergeant. So the weird thing, I didn't really have like an AIT, because I think like the Cav Scouts, I think the MPs do it, and the infantry does as well. But they have what's called like one station unit training. So the people like drills that you had for basic, the bays that you stay in, you're there the whole 18 weeks is what ours were. They were trying to move it up to 21 weeks, like the cycle after me. Um, which it's a lot of shit to cram in like that. It's like you get your 8 weeks of basic, and then same people, standards don't change. I never got like a day pass or nothing the whole 18 weeks that I was there. So, which I think, and we had 5 phases. There was like red, white, blue, and there was like black and then gold phase was like the last two. Um, so had us up in there, did all your courses, gas chamber, which, and the gas chamber was kind of funny because I knew it was coming up because they told us that we could get seconds that day. And I'm like, I'm fucking smarter than that, dude. I'm not, I'm not doing that. So
Yep.
have my normal meal. I'm watching other people get fucking cake and like all sorts of other shit. They also had chili mac that day. I
Chili Mac
remember,
comes up better. That's why
yep,
we got double Chili Mac, and you
yep.
had to shave extra good that day.
So they fucking did us dirty on that one because we had one kid in there that never had to shave because didn't even grow peach fuzz, and they knew it because he had just like a tiniest little fucking trail of little white hairs. They had me shave like after fucking lunch every day. Like I had to keep a razor on me because my scruff kept coming back in. So they came walking up to us and everything, and they were like, "Did you shave today?" And I was like, "Yeah, I fucking did." Like, I'm not messing up again. I got smoked for that already. And so they made us all go grab razors. We towed the line around the kill zone in there, which the kill zone is just like that red square that you're not allowed to walk into. I'm pretty sure like the Marines have the same thing. I don't really know about the other branches too much, but never allowed to set foot in there unless you're cleaning it. So they
Mm-hmm.
call it toe the line. So we would have to move everybody's bunks and foot lockers to the wall. We all stand around in a circle, and that's usually how we got smoked or whatnot. So they had us all up there just dry shaving for like a good 10 minutes right before we went out to go eat. Then we ate, got seconds and everything like that, and then they're like, "Congrats, we're going to the gas chamber, have fun." And I was like one of the last group to go up in there. So you already have all these tablets that have been cooked off. I'm watching people puking on their way out, flapping their arms. And so I was like, I think I was like the third squad to go. Or they went from fourth squad up. So first squad was like the last one. So fourth squad goes in there. And all I hear coming out of there is just first platoon is fucked. First platoon is fucked. I'm sorry. While they're flapping, I'm like, oh no, something bad happened. Come to find out, one of the females said, "Fuck this shit," and went to go charge the door. Ended up pushing a drill sergeant out the way because she just could not stay in there any longer. And so as soon as we get back, I mean, dog shit smoked out of us like bad. So I'm up next. We all get in there, get ready to go. I specifically remember them saying to close your bag for your gas mask whenever you get up in there. So close my bag, put that on. I was the only person in the squad to do that. So we had to stand there. I think it was like an extra 5 seconds for every person that didn't. Um, and I misheard them because they have like those speakers up there on it. So I thought they said like breach your mask. So I'm sitting here holding my mask open, coughing while doing all like the exercises. That's not what they said at all. And so I spent the whole time in there just fucking getting gassed out. I'm just running, everything's going. And then they finally tell us to pull it off. And we had, I forgot what his name was, but he kind of looked like Mr. Crocker from the Fairly Odd Parents a little bit. I mean, big old like Coke bottle glasses, like tall, skinny guy. I think he was actually sapper qualified too. But he comes just right up to me like this close and he's like, Private, is your fucking mask off? I was like, yes, Joe Sergeant. Like, through the costs and everything. He's like, put it back on. We didn't tell you to stop yet. So I chuck it back on, do the whole clearing procedures, and then they tell us to take it off. So, I mean, we're in there doing jumping jacks, Soldier's Creed, all of that. When we go to get out, and I mean, everybody's burning. You can also tell who cleans their uniforms or not because whenever they get smoked the next time, all that CS gas comes back up out of their uniform and starts hitting people in the formation.
Hey, that's actually your second time around CS gas.
Yeah.
um, like everybody, he's my oldest son, and we was at Bragg, and we had hit that chamber up every once in a while there. I came home, plopped down on the couch, and all that residue was all over the couch, and I forgot all about it. And little guy here jumps on the couch, and next thing you know, he's like, "I'm on fire, I'm burning." I'm like, "Oh no, I forgot." So
Yeah.
yeah, that was your second time at CS chamber, if you
Thought I
will.
had fire ants crawling all over me, man. It was pretty good. Uh, so yeah, that was like most of red phase. I mean, we just got smoked to hell. They signed me up as like the phase banner, which is like the guy that carries the flag for the platoon. And usually they get switched out like every week or so, but for some reason they just kept me in as that one the whole cycle. So I was just the flag guy. And this is important for later, but they Drill Sergeant Schwanke, he was a funny dude because he would come up like behind people and do like that goat scream, like that kind of thing. And if people would flinch, then he would smoke them for moving that attention. So he did that to me at one point. I didn't move at all. And so I just see a head come around like, what the shit? Like that. He's like, Shahan, what's wrong with you? I was like, I don't know, Joe Sergeant, you tell me. Like, fucking, I'm just here. I don't know. And they just like fucking with me a lot. And there was one time, Davids, he was our PG for a long, long time. He was
They
actually,
were berating you.
yeah, I got berated. But so like you and like the PG would sit up in front of the platoon while you're eating. They would have this. We usually did hot chow more than like the defac until they opened it up later on in the cycle. But like we still learned all like the defac procedures and shit like that, and we did that a lot. But some days they would just have hot chow out there. One squad would be, the guys that served everybody, and then you're good to go. Um, I was not a big fan of oranges. They took too long to eat, and the red apples tasted so damn good that I would always try to trade with people. So I'm looking at David's. I know he likes oranges. I'm like, hey, would you like to trade? And he's like, fucking Schwanky saw that. He's like, Sharon, are you trying to get more Fig Newtons? I'm like, no, Josan, I don't want any fucking Fig Newtons. I don't like them shits. Like, I didn't say it like that, of course, but so they made me take like 4 of them and smash them up into a big ball and fucking eat them all at once. And then I was like, Drill Sergeant, I just wanted the apple. Like, that's it. He's like, oh, you're an apple guy, huh? I was like, yes, Drill Sergeant. So he tosses me an apple and he's like, Shahan, for every bite of that apple you take, you're going to take one from that orange like it's an apple. I was like, peel and all, Drill Sergeant. He's like, that's the healthiest part of the orange. So, so no bullshit. I wanted that fucking apple. So, I mean, straight up, I ate the whole fucking thing, both of them, peel and all. It was a good time, but he gave me some creed that I had to memorize. Is like I was given the position of like the phase banner, and I will take a life or give my life in his defense or something like that. Because they would always try to come by and like take somebody's flag from them, and if they got it, then you fucking lost it. Like that's it.
Mm-hmm.
So I would shower with that thing, slept with it, like it was like a second rifle pretty much. And they were always trying, man. So like before the defact, they'd have us mount it. They had like PVC pipe in there, so like you get your battalion guide on, and then all of your platoon flags on the side. So I come running out of the defact one day. I look, my fucking flag ain't there, and I'm like, oh shit, this is a bad day. So I come running down. I forgot what his name was, but he was like a shorter Hispanic drill that we had, and he was short enough that he would always be looking up at you like that. He's a scary fucking dude too. So I come sprinting down, and I see him holding my flag kind of up against there, and I'm like, well, I'm getting that shit back, man. So I come by and I go to like rip it out of his hand right as I'm sprinting. The dude was too strong for me, and he's like still has a hold of it, and now we're just locked eye to eye. And he's like, "What the fuck you think you're doing, guy?" I was like, "Drill sergeant, I need my phase banner back." And he's like, "You're about to fucking die." And I was like, "Drill sergeant, I will give my life or take life, whichever one comes first." I mean, just straight up. And like, there's all like the kids sprinting out the DFAC are seeing this, so they kind of stop and they're like, "Oh fuck!" Like we're gonna die, like straight up. And so he starts counting down from three, and he's like, "I'm gonna fuck you up if you don't." And so I'm like, not doing a drill sergeant, just like that. It's like, "All right, guy, let's go." I get back there, we end up paying for our food and shit because they had us do a thing where like after each DFAC you had to do like so many leg tufts, push ups, and everything, and then before you come upstairs you have to do the same kind of shit. So we're all waiting. We march back up there to our place and everything, and then they're like, "All right, first platoon, once you get up there, split the bay, toe the fucking line," and we're like, "Yep, we're getting smoked. Like this will be fun." So get up there, and then he pulled the 180 on us. He was just doing mail call, but it had us scared to high hell. Um, so yeah, that one was pretty fun. And then we hit white phase, so we're starting to do all like your range time and stuff like that. Um,
Hey, in your mail call, did you have any good letters?
yeah, so this dude, so he drew some like stick figures coming down, like paratroopers coming in. There's like a fucking engineer that he had like pushing like a Bangalore into water or into wire, and he made like these massive testicles on the stick figure, and it's just with an arrow that said "massive balls." And they ended up finding that letter. They're like, "Shahan, what the fuck is this?" And I was like, "Yeah, my dad was 82nd drill sergeant." They're like, "Oh, okay," and then they just walked out. There's nothing else to it. They just knew. But
Yeah, I knew that they checked mail, and I was like, I'm gonna get him a real good letter.
oh yeah, it was better than the divorce papers that a couple people got. That was a rough
Oh,
one.
yeah.
Yeah. But so yeah, we doing range time and all of that, and I think one of the only really like funny stories that we had from there, we had a newer drill. This was like his first cycle, and you can kind of tell who's been doing it for a while and who's kind of new because he was getting pointers from all the other ones while we were going, and he had to switch out from his campaign hat to his Kevlar to go run the range, and so he told me and I don't remember his name, but he was like, in the bunk right next to me the whole time. So we were always, hanging out together. And he was like, "You two watch this. Don't let it touch the ground. But I also can't touch it. And it's windy as shit that day." So he just laid it down on one of our rucksacks. And so we're sitting there for, I'm not shitting you, like 4 hours. So the wind goes to blow it over. So I use my flag to hold it up from fucking hitting down on the floor. And now I'm getting yelled at because, there's just two random fucking dudes sitting over there in the formation area. And they're like, "What the fuck are you guys doing? Get the fuck up here!" Like, blah, blah, blah. And we're like, "I was told to stay here till start." Like, I don't know what the fuck you want me to do. Like, I'm getting conflicting, commands. And then I just see, it was Joe Sergeant Hernandez was his name. But he looks over and he goes, "Oh shit!" I heard him audibly. He comes sprinting over, grabs it. He's like, "Okay, go shoot, guys. Like, you don't have to fucking sit here anymore." So we got completely forgot about, and go out there, qualify, everything like that, and we're good to go. And as I'm qualifying, I really have to take a shit like bad. So I got, got done shooting and everything. I was like, drill sergeant requesting permission to go utilize the latrine, And this was a different platoon's drill that I was asking. And he's like, I don't give a fuck, guy. Go shit your pants. And Schwanky was like, don't fucking tell him that, because he fucking will. Because he was like, Shahan, you can go take a shit. You're fine. And so, because, I just did what I was told, man. Because half the time it was more
like
funny.
like Forrest Gump.
Yeah, man. But so, did all of that. The range was pretty fun. I really don't even remember what we did for blue phase. I think that was more like squad movements and shit like that. Um, but I really couldn't tell you. I think that was more like learning about how to get like your uniform set and all that kind of stuff. So I finished out from that. Our graduation was kind of weird. So instead of everybody being up in like your dress blues, because this was right whenever they were switching over to the pinks and greens. So I didn't even get issued like a dress top or nothing. All I had was my pants and my shoes and like one undershirt, and that was it. Then they're like, yeah, you'll just have to buy it once you get up there to your unit. And I'm like, well, fuck me, dude. So I got one from like a pawn shop where people were just selling off all their shit, and that's what I was pimping with for a while. But yeah, for ours, they just had us walk in front. You're like Private Shahan from wherever I'm from, and then that was that, and then you just walk off. But they did like a whole Facebook thing on it. Finish that up, and then they're like, "Congrats! Now for the real hard stuff." And we're like, "Oh man, yay!" And that's whenever I got into the combat engineer training. So um, most of our stuff, you're going over like demolitions, right? Your all your different ways of breachings, like shotguns, sledgehammers, stuff like that. Then you go into like mine clearing, and that's pretty much most of it from there, other than like your room clearing and like movement over the urban terrain. And like for you guys, did you guys have like an FTX at the end of every phase?
Let's see here. Mine was a lot farther back than what yours was.
Yeah, for sure.
I remember we had I believe it was called the Forge or something. I don't remember.
Yeah, because we had like the hammer, the anvil, and then the forge at the end. Like the forge
Yeah,
is like the last one. Like that's the one where like you did the whole naked night and all of that.
Night Infiltration Corps.
Yep.
I did. I remember that one because I was the
Mhm.
first one across that sucker.
Yeah, same here.
Um, and then I remember we were 3 days just wandering out around out in the woods.
Mhm.
Um, digging foxholes and stuff like that, getting poked with CS gas in our holes.
Yeah.
Um, I think like only thing I had left to do was the march back,
Mhm.
and I was so sick I woke up in the hospital
Yep,
at
that is
basic,
true.
and so I didn't get the little where they come marching in at night with the tiki torches and drinking the punch or whatever it
Yeah,
is.
we weren't allowed to do that either because of the
Um,
fucking COVID
so I
shit.
missed it. But yeah, I
Yeah.
remember waking up in the hospital like, what? I was just out in the field,
Yeah.
like I was out for like a day, I guess. But
Mhm. Damn.
yeah, I was pretty sick. I don't
Yeah.
half-ass it.
Nope. Got to push all the way if you're gonna do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but that's all. Then I the graduation, and
Mhm.
then getting to see all you guys again,
Yeah.
and we went around post and looked at stuff.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, which and I kind of wish that we could have had a family day too because we were supposed to, but then the COVID stuff really restricted that. So they were like, yeah, we're not going to do that.
hmm,
Um, so I didn't get a family day for basic, and the only reason why they let us do like the phone calls, we got one at the end of every phase, I think it was, just to check in and make sure like nobody in your family had died, pretty much, and that was it. It was like we did not get much time at all. I think they gave us like a good like 2 minutes just to be like, "Hey, anybody dead? No, okay, love you, bye," and that was
hmm,
that. But yeah, so like we did that too. Like our forge, they give you like grid coordinates for like each kind of thing, and then like halfway through they had like a 50 cal with blanks in it that they would fire off, and then you had to go assault that and shit like that. They toss CS gas in your foxhole at nighttime. There was one time, because like your patrol base usually set up like a triangle, and at the apex you have some belt fed weapon. So I had the 240 for that one, and I just saw somebody come walking up. He didn't have the hat on or nothing like that, and it was the guy that kind of looked like Mr. Crocker. Um, so he came walking up, and I was like, "Who the fuck's there?" Because that was our running password. Um, they let us pick it, so that's
All
on them.
right.
And he was like, "What the fuck did you say, private?" I was like, "Make yourself known. Who are you?" Like that. And he's like, "All right." And then he just walks backward. I'm like, "Oh, that's probably not good." And next thing I know, I just see a fucking canister get chucked into my fucking foxhole, and it's CS gas. So, and we don't have our gas mask with us. They didn't let us take it. So I just took that thing and I chucked it back out, and he was very much not happy about that. So he picked that up. He calls everybody up out of their shit. We're getting smoked. He's just fucking wafting this thing around everybody. So I apologize to everybody that was in first platoon for that. Oh well, you know, at least it wasn't all just in mine. But yeah, so we finished all that up. Got into it. They let us fire off like cratering charges. Got to teach us how to like prime C4, all that. And the shit part about it is like you can't wear gloves while working with demo because of the static electricity. It could set it off. And it's super super hard to like use a J hook whenever your hands are too cold to move, and so that was kind of an interesting ordeal trying to trying to tie off demo, manipulate a weapon while you're super cold. And honestly, I think like the coolest thing that we did was like the whole room clearing section, because I know like most people in basic do like basic room clearing. This was like still basic, but a little bit more in depth than what most of the people would get. So they had actual doors that we had to breach through, go in. They had people with blanks on the other side that were firing back at us. Really did a lot of movement with like the glass houses moving through. And then kind of towards the end of that phase, the MPs had just finished up all their shit. Well, now there's a bit of a rivalry between all of us. And so what they did was is that they took the best kind of team from our guys and then the best team from their guys. We all got sim rounds. One team got to kind of set everything up for their defense. Another team got to try to come in and clear it out. And then we ran it back the other way and kind of just see who did the best. Um, I ended up I ended up shooting a kid right on like the inside of his thigh, and oh man, I could tell you them things hurt. All right, I've been I've been shot like once I got to my unit with them. I got like three into my back at one point, and oh man, I cannot imagine how much that kid was feeling on that one. At least
So,
nobody got popped in the eyes.
what'd your sim rounds look like? Ours were like they looked like about like a 9 millimeter. We
Mhm.
had a special mag and all that, but
Yep.
it was about like a nine
Mhm.
millimeter round hitting you, but with
Yep.
paint and
Yeah, we
powder.
have the same thing. Did you guys have to switch out your barrels too?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, we all had the same stuff. Yeah, them shits just hurt, man. It's uh, they're just not very fun to get popped by. But it makes you not want to get shot. I can tell you that. That's why I do so
Yeah.
bad in video games because people ain't scared to get fucking shot. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But yeah, that was pretty cool. We ended up stomping them because MP suck. Uh, take that one, Carl. Just so you know. Nah, you're good. But yeah, finished all that, did all of our demo. Mine clearance where we actually lost the most amount of people because we were still using like the Vietnam ANS or PS14, I think they were something like that.
Is that
The
like a
old,
metal detector?
yeah, pretty much. So it has like your ground penetrating radar, and then it has your metal detecting, and like the high metallic mines do like this really kind of sounds like tinnitus. So there's like a low roll and then a high roll. So as soon as like the edge goes over that actual mine in there, you'll hear it go boo weep, like that, and you have to do that on four sides of it. You put poker chips and then one in the center to say like, "Hey, there's a fucking mine here. Don't step on it." And they had little small like toe popper mines. They had big old anti tank mines, and what they did was is that they would bury them. They would also teach us how to set up actual ones, and then we'd come in and clear it. Um, and if you missed any of them, you fail. Like there's no half-assing it. Like either you get it or you don't. And we had a lot of people getting recycled for that. I was able to get it pretty easy, but that stuff's super hard to cure. And they also taught us how to pizza box with like a bayonet to kind of scan for everything in case your detector goes out, because that was like a really bad thing that was happening. Because back in like Vietnam and stuff, they would have to low crawl and scan for mines because you're not just standing up getting shot at. You know what I mean? And sometimes people with batteries would give out. They wouldn't hear anything, not know it, and then end up crawling right on top of one. So they try to give us enough tools to kind of adapt and overcome pretty much any situation. Um, and yeah, and just like the forge where they basically apply everything that you've learned up until then, we had the Ceftex, which was where we got to work with like the Charlies, which is like the bridge building people. So they would come up, build a bridge for us to come across, assault like a wire breach, move through that, and then they had like this little mock town that we were running with like blank rounds, and they had people in there with blanks as well, kind of being like the defense. We had to move through this town, start assaulting through buildings. We got to do like explosive and manual breaching through there. It was a really cool thing. And then at the end of all that, you're good to go. You're a certified engineer, and got to head out from there. Sorry, a little bit of a voice crack, but yeah, it was pretty sweet. Honestly, probably like the most fun that I had in my time in. I would definitely go back, even just for like the workout program, because I kind of need it now. But yeah, after that, got to come home for like 3 days because I had a report down there to Stewart. Ended up getting in there with the route clearance unit. Got to learn how to use like all of the different kind of buffaloes, huskies, all that kind of stuff. Which should I talk about what all of them are? Or?
Yeah, because people are going to think that you're just running around on a big cow.
Yeah, for sure. So where I was at, we had like a bunch of MRAPs to start off, which is that stands for like a mine resistant armored. It was just a mine resistant vehicle. So like the Buffalo is a super super big vehicle, like a big arm on the front of it that'll come in and kind of like scoop a mine up, and you can set it off that way. That way they don't have to call out EOD. We were basically like great value EOD. Like they taught us to use a grappling hook to set off mines, or you walk up to it and then you blow it up somewhat safely. Like you would just kind of like prime a C4 charge, place it about where the thing is, clear everybody, and then pop it. You're good to go.
Because what do
Uh,
you do when you find explosives?
Play with them.
You put more explosives
Oh
on
yeah,
it.
yeah. So yeah, and like the husky. So the huskies fucking suck. They call it like the iron coffin for a reason because it's like a big tractor, and what it's made to do, it has like this big mine detector on the front, and then it has two that fall down on the sides, and it comes with a whole trailer of spare parts because it's made to get blown up without you dying. But it has a V-shaped hole, so whenever it comes in, it directs the force out, blows all the tires up, and it only has a top hatch and like a little tiny fan in there. So if you get blown up in it, the wheels fly off. You're either hitting this way or this way. Don't matter. Either way, it's going to suck. Um, and those things move so damn slow. You're moving like 2 to 3 miles an hour, and that's going fast while,
Hmm.
while mine detecting. So yeah, we got to do some fields with that. We also had the Panthers, which were, I don't really know how to describe them, but they have like RPG cages all around them, and what those are made to do is like if an RPG comes in, it'll catch them so that way it doesn't hit the detonator on the front, and it'll kind of just hold it. And there was one of the guys that had deployed with them, same Vix and everything. They couldn't open up the door because they had an RPG come in, get trapped, and it like locked the door in place. And it was still going, like the actual propellant at the back was just cooking off. So, I mean, it's pretty spooky out there because I know early 2000s, like back whenever you guys were in, they had like that big long box on the front that would like set off whatever IED was going off before
yeah,
y'all hit it.
I think those are called warlocks.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep.
Yeah, because we have like some kind of more advanced systems a little bit. Um, like everything is reinforced super fucking well. So even if you did get hit, there's a pretty good chance that you ain't gonna get too fucked up. It's still gonna suck, I can tell you. You'll get rocked, but um, I think my favorite vehicle that we had was like the Panthers. What the Panther was, it's like the medium between like the Buffalo and the RGs or the Panthers, or not the Jaguars. I mean, but the back door folds down. So whenever we do like vehicle wire breaches, what you do is you fold that back door down and you sit there with like these big flags. And as you're going, you chuck them down to kind of mark like the safe clear area to go through. Which in the infantry, love them to death, but they're kind of dumb because we were using chem lights for like a nighttime wire breach, and we had busted open this wire completely. Got a good 20 meters where you can walk in front. Chem lights marking the exact path that you go to take, and these guys are like a good 40 meters down, running headfirst into C wire, getting caught up, and then calling us fucking stupid. And you know, gotta love the joint training with third ID, but
Broken TVs.
yeah, it was a fun time. Which and we were kind of like the bastard kids of the 82nd, so we were still underneath the 18th Airborne Corps, but we were part of the 92nd. I got some coins here if you don't mind me showing them.
Yeah.
So I got this one. This is our battalion coin with our insignia up on there. I forgot what I got this one for, but it was for something. And then this was the other one that they had. Good old castle up on there. And then I had also gotten the limited edition third platoon coin because they switched up from the Kodiaks now, so they ain't Kodiaks no more. Um, but yeah, did a lot of that kind of training up there, and then we came down on DSurf orders. I forgot what DSurf even stands for, but basically, like if there was some big like Katrina sort of disaster or like some seaborne attack were to happen, we'd get sent in there as like the decon crew. So we got to learn how to set up, all like the big tents with like the wash lines and all that, full on, seaborne suits, more than the what was the name of our chemical suits that we had? Mop gear.
Mop gear, yes.
Yeah, so this was above the level of mop gear. It was like a little bit more resistant to shit. So you're in that suit, middle of the Georgia heat, washing people down. And that was like our primary mission because it's like a 2 year long thing. But then whenever I got moved from 530th to 526, which was the construction platoon with like all the Novembers, so all of your like bulldozer guys and shit like that, they had the urban search and rescue shit. So instead of doing just like the decon side, these are the guys going in there and like actually bringing back like, the bodies and the injured people. They got to do a lot of really cool stuff. There's like trenches that they learned how to like keep from collapsing as they pull people out, a lot of rappelling, how to do basically like all your firefighter stuff, but a little bit more in depth for the clearing on that. But
Like
yeah,
learning how to fight zombies.
pretty much, yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It was a good time being in, and I think first episode talking, I think we covered a lot of ground. Um, I can see we're at the 53-minute mark, so I don't want to go overtime for you or anything like that. But yeah, I mean, do you have any questions about anything at all? Or?
No, I think we talked back and forth quite a bit. I think we did all right. If anybody has any questions, put it in the comments.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, and I'll be sure it gets back to you so you can relay information or whatever.
Yeah,
Maybe one day when this gets out to more people, it might be
mm-hmm.
somebody you was in with, and they will be like, "Oh
Yeah,
yeah, I know that dude."
yeah, that'd be pretty sweet, man.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, especially I would love for somebody in my chain of command to hear this eventually and be like, "Oh yeah, that guy was an idiot" or something.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
you, I would like for Schlonky, drill sergeant type,
yeah,
one each. You're
yeah.
like,
That'd
"Oh
be
man,
pretty
that
cool.
guy," and talk about
Yeah,
you.
Which, and I'm sure he probably wouldn't even remember me, to be honest. But you know, I barely even remember basic from that long ago. But
Yeah.
it's
I basic was so long ago,
mhm,
but I do remember one of our little drill sergeants, the guy that I've told you about. He was in the
mhm.
CS chamber, just smoking a cigarette.
Yeah.
He actually, I this was a few years back. Um, I don't know if I seen him on social media or whatever,
Mhm.
or I knew somebody who knew him, but he ended up marrying one of the girls that was in basic, and it was pretty crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the good days, you know,
Hmm.
back when you can get hooked up with teachers. Um,
Yeah. Nowadays you just get Chris Hansen for it, but yeah,
yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, no, it was a good story, bud.
cool. Well,
Yep.
thank you. I was a bit nervous, first time on camera and everything. Well, shit, yeah, this is the first
This,
recorded episode too.
yes, this one I actually got Starlink now, so I can do video.
Hmm.
Before it was just lagging so bad, so I was just trying to stick to video or audio. But now I'm having mic issues where it's blasting the speakers out for some
Hmm.
reason. I don't know what I'm doing. Like I said,
You're
I'm
good.
still need a wizard up in this thing.
Yeah, good old learning curves, man.
That and yeah, I apologize everybody. I'm gonna as soon as I edit this, it's going straight to Spotify. I've been sick, and then Christmas happened, and well, New Year's is what this
Coming
is the
up.
30th, so yeah, in like
Hmm.
2 days.
Yeah.
So, and then I got a show lined up for Thursday, but yeah, sounds good. And I'm gonna
Mhm.
try to get this on YouTube, and maybe
Yeah, for
I'll
sure.
have you figure that out for me.
Yeah, I got
So,
you.
but
Yeah.
thank you for coming on,
Mhm.
everybody. I don't know. I don't have any advertisements right now. Just do things, comment on here, help me out, share the show, be
Mhm.
on the show, um, all that stuff.
Mhm.
But well, thanks a lot, bud.
Yep. Take care.
Yep.